Welcome to Pentecostal Preaching Channel. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy what you see. Hit the bell to be notified when something new is uploaded. Have a great day.
Now, I did. I offered to be in the kitchen. It doesn't take... I offered my services, but it doesn't take dropping just one or two dishes, and that's all. I mean, I'll take care of it from then on. But I have seen the Lord use my wife in ministry, not in the pulpit leadership ministry, but in many, many other kinds of ministries. And even last night she was speaking to a ladies group at one of the local churches, and she does that quite regularly. And I don't get to say this very often, but I really do appreciate her. She's a very sweet person and long-suffering, and she'd have to be, you know that, don't you? Very patient, very kind, and very understanding. So she's got some things that she wants to share with you this morning in the remaining portion of this service. Sister Enzi?
And he has kept his part of the bargain. He has stayed out of the kitchen, and I do appreciate it. I'd like to make a couple of announcements before we continue. One of them is our Wives Club meeting will be tonight at 7:30 in the cafeteria. And I would like for every husband that is present here today to stand. My, what a fantastic looking group. And I'm sure you all have taken the notices home to your wives about the Wives Club. Okay, I want you to remain standing. There's one other thing. How many of you have noticed this little poster that was on the podium, on the bulletin board out there, about the wives class that we're fixing to start having? How many of you have told your wives about it? Very good. 3 of you. Good. I'd like for all of you to tell your wives. I want her to be in Wives Club meeting tonight, but we would also like for her to come to our wives classes that we're fixing to start. Next Monday night, we're going to be talking about victorious wives, knowing yourself, knowing your husband, knowing your children, and serving your world. It will only be 8 weeks long, so I'd like for you to encourage your wives to come to this class. She needs to come, and you need her to come. So how many of you are going to encourage your wives to come? If you are, you can be seated. Thank you. Now, second quarter every year, I teach a class of junior girls called Women of the Bible. And this class is designed to help us not only learn about the women of the Bible and their lives and what they went through, but it's to teach us principles to live by from the examples that they gave us in the Bible, and also to help the girls learn to refine their teaching techniques and their study techniques. And so every year we have a group of junior girls that do a lot of reports on women of the Bible. And this is excellent experience for them. And every year I'm amazed at the talent that we have among us. We have some very talented young ladies here, fellows. We really do. And this year is no exception. I had an excellent class this year. They just did outstanding. And I wished many times as we were sitting in class and I was listening to their reports, I wish that there was some way that I could share with all of you what I get to hear, because all of them were so very good. And so I talked to my husband, and we decided that we would let one come and share with you her story and let you see just a little sampling of what I get to hear every year from the junior girls. Now, I've asked Renee Rowin to share her story with you, and she's going to be telling you the story of a woman in the Bible that is probably most famous for her request of Jesus. In the 20th chapter of Matthew, this mother comes to Jesus, and she asked a very strange thing of him. She said, Lord, you know I've got 2 sons, James and John. Lord, they're good boys. They've been good all their lives. I've never had any problems with them. And you know, I would like for you to honor them by letting one of them sit on your right hand and one on your left hand. Well, you know what happened immediately? The other disciples started talking among themselves. Good boys. Boy, if she knew them like I knew them, if she had seen them last week, that's their mother for you, wanting them to sit. I'm the one that ought to be sitting up there by Jesus, not them. Well, Jesus knew what was going on in their hearts, and so he chose this time to give them a principle to live by. And he said to them, if you want to be great, learn to be a servant. And that was a principle that he gave them. Now, how many of you here know the name of this woman that made this famous request? No junior girls can answer this. You know the name of this woman that made this request of Jesus. What was her name, Pam? Salome. Salome is her name. And I would like to right now, I know you're going to have to be very, very quiet in order for you to hear and understand everything that she says. So I want you to be very quiet, very attentive, and I'd like to introduce to you right now Salome.
Another baby was to be born, another life for us to form. And as we raised our children, we had but one goal: to teach them to love God from the very depths of their soul. Oh, I taught them to walk, to talk, and to sing. We lived out our lives, but not our dreams. Zebedee taught them what they needed to know in relation to how to fish. But I wanted so much more for my boys. For them to be great was my wish. One day, our business began to grow. And it grew so much that it seemed we soon had more money than I had ever dreamed. But we remained humble, just down-to-earth folk. Messiah was first. His coming, our hope. And one day things were so different as I sat at home. The men were gone fishing, and I was alone. I pondered it in my heart, and I expressed it out loud. follow me. Now my boys had been trained. The love was in their heart. They dropped their nets where they lay, and from the family they depart. They followed Messiah. Jesus was his name. My boys and 10 others soon gained great fame. This was it. It was here, and I knew that all of my dreams had finally come true. My boys were great. The whole land knew of them, and the discontent that was in my life grew very dim. They followed Jesus through thick and through thin, and everyone could see they were exceptional men. I was so happy when the word came to me that Jesus had a special group composed of his select three. Now, it's not that I thought less of the others. That's not true. But of the three in the special group, besides Peter, the others were my two. I decided merely being great will never do. And a thought came to me, why, my boys should reign. Messiah will set up his kingdom to reign with power and with might. There are places for my sons to sit, James on his left, John on his right. Now please don't think I'm selfish. That is not at all my condition. You see, I am just a mother. I have a mother's grand ambitions. So I waited and I waited until Jesus was near. I approached him with pride, but yet still with fear. I made my way to the master. It took me a while. I saw my boys. They gave me a smile. I just strolled up to Jesus as big as you please. The power of his presence nearly sent me to my knees. I said, "Sir, I have a petition for you." He said, "Speak. I'm listening. What can I do?" I made my request. I phrased it just right. "Please let my boys sit. James on the left, John on the right. Your kingdom will be grand. Too much for you to rule alone. And that's why you need my boys, to sit upon 2 thrones." Now Jesus knew my very thoughts, the intents of my heart, and he didn't rant and rage at me or tell me to depart. He simply looked into my eyes and said, "I knew not what I asked." I was astonished. Of course I knew my request, but then I realized exactly what he meant. It wasn't to rule in this world for which he was sent. The other 10 were jealous. So Jesus turned around. And from this simple incident, a great lesson is found. He taught that we're sent not to rule, but to serve. And the one who follows that command will have great peace on earth. So I turned from the group and went away. I went on home to think. I accepted the words of Jesus Christ and let them in my heart sink. I applied the lessons to my life and let them do their perfect work. Soon my life grew free from care and clean of all its mirth. But then I grew old, and it was then that for people were laughing and mocking his name. They had no respect for the master so grand. Their only concern was to drive him from the land. They yelled, "Crucify him!" I could see the scene still as Jesus struggled to bear his cross up that hill. Where were my boys? I looked in vain, but at the crucifixion, they weren't to be seen. But then I saw them at the foot of the cross. I knew all my teaching was not a loss. Jesus looked at John. He loved him so much. He yearned to just reach out and give him a touch. Instead, he looked at his mother, then back to my boy, and gave a commission neither one could ignore. He left the care of this lady, so pure and so sweet, to my very own son as they knelt at his feet. The horror ended and the day came to a halt. We wept and we mourned as we left the cross. 3 days later, we went to the tomb. We had to anoint his precious body. It wasn't a cheerful party with 3 women, but we had to do our duty. And as we neared the tomb, we gasped into dismay because something was wrong. The stone was rolled away. We could not believe someone would stoop so low as to steal a body from a grave. This was the final blow. We cried and we wept. We mourned in despair, but we looked all around. Jesus just wasn't there. But then an angel appeared in glory divine and delivered a message we'd hoped for. Fear not, said he. Jesus isn't dead, but he lives now and evermore. Our joy was uncontrollable as we shouted and danced around. Our hope was alive. They couldn't keep Jesus buried in that ground. I saw him myself in the next few days, but then he went away. He wasn't gone forever. Oh, but he sent his spirit to stay. And now you know my story, the way I've lived my life, and I'll give you a lesson to help you in your night. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, remember, you are not alone. Messiah lives. He is in your heart. He's made your heart his home. I showed you gold, both evil and right, but I showed you that yielding to Jesus will make everything right. I showed you dedication to the Master and his will. A dedication of your life also will keep you still. I showed you giving, both myself and my sons, a giving of our very lives to the one who gave his own. And I showed you trust in things both seen and not. A trust I placed in Jesus Christ as I let him rule my heart. So now I'll go, I'll take my leave with just this final word to say. Give your lives to Jesus Christ. He will guide you all the way.
Wrote that herself, and I never saw a better presentation of an original piece than that. What can you say? What a talent to communicate truth. Some powerful things were said there.
Amen.
I hope we all caught. Thank you, Sister Renee, for doing that. She didn't miss a word. And it was beautiful. The truth of it all was beautiful. Fantastic. Thank you, Sister Anthony, for bringing her today. If this is representative of these junior ladies, we talk about some teachers.
Right.
Talk about some communicators of the gospel and the truth. I thank God for it. Let's praise the Lord for it. Hallelujah. Thank you for this present. Thank you, Lord, for
Then sing